Hello, and welcome to Public Health Matters, a monthly program dedicated to discussing public health issues in our community. This program is sponsored by the Middle-Brook Regional Health Commission, which serves the towns of Bound Brook, Greenbrook, Middlesex, South Bound Brook, Warren, and Watchung. My name is Colleen McKay Wharton, and I'm the health educator for the Commission and the host of this program. Our goal for Public Health Matters is to give you a program that will provide you useful information to help you better understand important public health issues, and in particular, to help you know what you can do to reduce any of the risks associated with them. The month of March is both Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month and National Nutrition Month. So our topic for today will be to discuss the impact of diet on the prevention of colorectal cancer disease. You may be surprised to learn that it is actually the second leading cause of cancer-related death in men and women, but the good news is that it is one of the most preventable and treatable forms of cancer, and the rate of successful treatment is very high, especially when detected early. Our guests today are Connelly, a registered dietitian with the Steeplechase Cancer Center at Somerset Medical Center in Somerville, and she'll be discussing the important foods we should all be eating to help reduce our risks. Also joining us is Dr. Corey Virgilio, a gastroenterologist from Somerville, who will be discussing the important early detection screenings you need to be aware of. So thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Karen, we know that risk factors are those circumstances or behaviors that impact our likelihood of developing a particular disease. So, for example, we say smoking is obviously a risk cancer for lung cancer. And there are some things that we have control over and some things that we don't have control over. One of the things that we know has an impact, as you are well aware, is what our diet is like, specifically in colorectal cancer. So there's some really good news to share about that, from what I understand. I'm wondering if you can give us some information about the current beliefs about diet and cancer.
Colorectal cancer, among the major cancers, is most intimately tied with diet. And a lot of the research that's been done recently has showed that a diet low in animal fats, high in fruits and vegetables and whole grains, appears to help decrease your risk of developing colorectal cancer.
Excellent. Now, when you're talking about animal fats, we're referring primarily to red meat or
red meat, and red meat includes beef, pork, and lamb.
Okay.
And the recommendation is 11 ounces per week, which is roughly 2 to 3 servings per week.
Okay.
And that would mean a serving generally is the the palm of your hand,
right? Like a deck of
cards,
right?
Right, is a serving.
Okay. Now, a while back there was some, I don't know if it was just one report or more studies that talked about how we cook meat.
Right.
May have an impact as well.
And that too, there's been laboratory studies that show when you overcook meat, when you get the browning or the charring as if in grilling, those, what is produced is, is found to cause cancer, can be carcinogenic. They're called heterocyclic amines, and that can be,
that's a mouthful.
Right, but mostly just avoid meats that are browned or charred.
Okay, so is the recommendation generally to just say medium well at most, as opposed to saying well done?
Right, and baking, slow roasting rather than grilling. You just want to avoid any kind of overcooked meat.
Okay, that's
as
hard
well
with
as
barbecues.
Right, and as well as processed meat too. So luncheon meats, any meats that are cured or smoked.
Okay. Now, what about chicken and fish? Is that the same?
No, those are. Again, you wouldn't want to, if you're grilling chicken, you don't want to have, again, you wouldn't want to have it charred or browned. But chicken and fish are good alternatives to beef. They're leaner, so it'll help you maintain a healthier lifestyle. Maintaining your weight will be a little bit easier. Fish, especially salmon, offers omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory properties and are all linked to, with an increase in chicken and fish, a decrease in colorectal cancer.
Well, that's a very clear thing. I think we see that again and again, don't we?
Right.
Now, what about the diet when we talk about high in fruits and vegetables?
Right.
Like, are there particular fruits that are better than others, or
we recommend between 5 and 9 servings a day of fruits and vegetables. And generally you want to look for fruits and vegetables that have color. So dark leafy greens, orange, red, kind of like the fruit we have here.
We happen to have.
But generally the more color, usually the more antioxidants, the more carotene, so a little bit more protective.
Okay. And when you say the 5 to 9 servings a day, I think I wonder if most people hear that and think, oh my gosh, that's an awful lot. How do I incorporate this without it becoming a chore?
Right. It's actually easy. You do have to do some planning, but it's very easy to get those servings. We have a salad on the table, which is roughly, that there is 2 servings already of the spinach of your daily intake of fruits and vegetables, and the tomatoes add another serving. So it's really easy, and that's just 1 meal.
Right, so we've got 3 servings
already in
average size.
In one, and then if you added the carrots, that would give you another serving. So it's pretty easy. It's 1 cup of raw vegetables and 1/2 cup of cooked vegetables as a serving. So you really can, it's pretty easy because our portion sizes tend to be a little bit larger than we think, and it's a little bit easier to get in the vegetables and fruits. Okay.
Now, does fruit juice, is that as good, or is it?
It's good. We usually recommend using eating the whole fruit because you get more fiber from the whole fruit versus the fruit juice. But if you are going to choose a juice, you want to choose one that's 100% fruit juice. And in limited amounts, it's a good option to get in your fruit servings.
So it is one easy way with breakfast to have a glass of juice, of course. Okay. Now, you had mentioned, I believe, that citrus fruits are in particular.
There's been some promising research with colorectal cancer showing citrus fruits being a little bit more protective or having a beneficial effect on preventing colorectal cancer. So oranges, clementines, kiwis, and apples too, in particular.
Okay, well that's easy. I mean, that's an easy thing also to put in our kids' snack boxes, you know, to start that behavior.
They're usually accepted well by most people.
Right. Now, people also will ask, when it comes to vegetables, are they better frozen or fresh, steamed or canned? Does it matter how we're preparing it or how you're purchasing it necessarily?
Well, frozen or fresh are your best options. Canned tends to have a little bit more sodium, and we do recommend, avoiding excess sodium. Canned or fresh and steamed is good. You just want to make sure you keep that color. You don't want to cook them to the point where they turn gray.
Where they wilt.
Right. You want to have that vibrant color still there, but steaming or eating them raw, either way is good.
Okay. Now, I know fiber, which you sort of alluded to earlier in the fruit, fiber has long been talked about as a very strong connection with colorectal cancer, but recently there was some change in that thought.
There's been some studies that showed that fiber didn't have as much of an influence in preventing colorectal cancer as we once thought. But with those studies, they weren't long-term studies. They were only done over a few years, so that could have played a role in not showing the real benefit that fiber really does have. But we still, fiber is still useful in preventing many different, other chronic diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and as well as maintaining gut health, which is important in preventing and helping to prevent and decreasing your risk of colorectal cancer. So we still recommend a high fiber diet. Right.
Now, I understand that fiber also, or typically foods that have a high fiber, are also high in folate typically, which is also I've read is important.
And there's been other studies too with an increase in folate intake decreases your risk of colorectal cancer. And folate is found in a lot of enriched products like high-fiber cereals, in the cereal bars, in your spinach salad. So it's in a lot of fortified foods that you're already eating.
Okay, so it may be the folate, or
it could be the folate, fiber, or it could be the folate and the fiber. That's protective. When we're looking at these studies, they were looking at whole foods, not supplements. So we're not really sure which component of the food, but it seems to be, folate and fiber recur a lot, so it seems like they are, have protective qualities.
Okay.